Hi, this is Janet from the West End Library at Laurelton, Pennsylvania, with the monthly book review. I had seen the author Jeffrey Archer interviewed on a British news channel talking about his new book, Traitor's Gate. And since I'm a Jeffrey Archer fan, as soon as the book came into the library, I had to scarf it up and read it. The most interesting item brought out in the interview was how Jeffrey Archer had come up with the topic of this new novel. He had been on a cruise, and one evening at dinner, a person seated at his table was inquiring about what the topic of his next book was going to be. He didn't really have any idea at that point. The table mate went on to suggest a perfect topic, and she gave the plot and how it would work in less than 3 minutes. And it so intrigued him that evening in his stateroom, he wrote out a 30-page outline of this new book. Taking place in London, a favorite character in Archer's book is the newly promoted Superintendent William Warwick, along with his Commander Hawksby and Inspector Ross Hogan. The book opens with Warwick, Ross, the Lord Chamberlain, and other members of the Special Escort Group on their way to pick up the crown jewels from the Tower of London Jewel House to be used by Queen Elizabeth II at the opening of Parliament. There are several routes that are available, and no one knows until they are ready to leave to pick up the crown jewels which route will be used that day. The crown jewels consist of the imperial state crown and the sword of state. This trip, once a year, is only known to the select few who are assigned to pick up the crown jewels. Enter Miles Faulkner, who considered himself an international businessman, but in actuality was a thief of priceless artwork. Warwick's wife, Beth, is in the prime position to be appointed the elite position of director of the prestigious Fitzmullion Museum. Miles Faulkner, an ex-wife Christine, is a member of the board at the Fitzmullion and is a friend of Beth. They have an artwork acquisition business together that is very successful, but if Beth becomes the director, that puts Christine into the position of running the business. In the meantime, a priceless painting that Miles Faulkner had donated to the Fitzmullion is soon to be discovered to be a fake. The painting had been donated as a sign of good faith by Miles prior to his incarceration of 5 years in regards to forgery. Through an advertisement for the sale of a very elite apartment in New York City, the same painting that Miles had donated to the Fitzmullion was seen in the background in the advertisement. The apartment happens to be owned by Miles Faulkner. Beth has an acquaintance with the FBI in New York City who goes to view the apartment under the premise of purchasing said apartment, as well to get a paint sample from the piece seen on the wall. Beth begins to question the authenticity of the painting in the museum versus the one seen in the apartment advertisement. She has the paint sample from the painting in New York City and a paint sample from the one in the museum taken to be analyzed, and finds out that the painting in the museum is a copy, where the one in Miles' apartment is the original. So a switch plan needs to be devised and carried out in the most urgent of time. If it came to light that the painting in the museum was a fake, this would ruin Beth's chances of becoming director and would discredit the museum. Miles is alerted to people interested in the apartment, and through information gained by people he knew in New York City, come to find out that they are involved with Beth. In the meantime, Miles has Christine, his ex-wife, for an enormous amount of money, fly to New York City and prevent a switch from happening. That way, the people who are going to switch the fake with the original will be stopped. However, when Christine finds out that her ex-husband had purposely presented the museum with a fake, she chooses to go against her ex-husband and allow the switch to take place. Over the next year, Miles devised a plan to steal the crown jewels. He would not be able to sell the jewels from the crown, especially because they are so well known worldwide, but his aim is to discredit Warwick, Hawksby, and Hogan to get back at them for his recent incarceration. If he can switch the jewels, mainly the crown, the top 3 people involved with transportation of the crown jewels would be discredited. Miles spends the year planning how to make a switch of the crown. The next year, when the Queen is to address the opening of Parliament, he puts his plan into action. With someone within the special escort group, a switch is made. When the Queen puts on the crown at Parliament, she immediately realizes a switch has taken place due to the lighter weight of the crown. Then it's a major race against time to figure out how the plan took place, with Warwick in the lead of the investigation, in order to get the crown jewels back to the Tower of London by the time they are to be returned. The story has several underlying stories as well, but the main plot is one of great intrigue and planning. If you enjoy reading Jeffrey Archer, I would strongly suggest you are reading Traitor's Gate.